नमस्कार। औष्र की इस व्याख्यान श्रृंखला में आपका स्वागत है और इसके अंतर्गत हम आपके सम्मुख डॉक्टर मधुसूदन पाल को ला रहे हैं। डॉक्टर मधुसूदन पाल एक विख्यात सर्जन है बंगाल में, लेकिन इन्होंने अपने जीवन का एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा नेताजी पे शोध करने में लगाया है। नेताजी के खजाने, आज़ाद हिंद फौज के, नेताजी का विवाह की जो बात होती है और नेताजी की मृत्यु को लेकर के जो गलत धारणाएं प्लेन क्रैश की बताई जाती हैं, या नेताजी का जो राष्ट्र के पुनर्निर्माण में योगदान है प्लानिंग कमीशन के माध्यम से, और या और कई नेताजी के ऊपर जो जिसे आप कहेंगे कि एक सांस्कृतिक प्रभाव था, एक धार्मिक प्रभाव था, आध्यात्मिकता थी, इन विषयों के ऊपर डॉक्टर पाल ने काफ़ी शोध किया है। और हमारी ये खुशकिस्मती है कि आज ये हमारे साथ दिल्ली में मौजूद है और आपके और इनके बीच में मैं खड़ा ना होते हुए इस पहले व्याख्यान में हम आपसे नेताजी की जो मृत्यु की भ्रांतियां फैलाई गई, जो प्लेन क्रैश की थ्योरी बना करके सामने आई, उसको किस तरीके से डॉक्टर पॉल ध्वस्त करते हैं, आपके सम्मुख।
The thing is whether there is really any plane crash and really whether he was admitted and died, any cremation. Is there any photograph of the crashed plane in Taiwan? Is there any photograph of the wounded Subhash Bose? Is there any photograph of Subhash Bose, Netaji, even after death? Any death certificate in his name? No, in last 75 years, nothing. But there are so many stories in volumes. Many ones claiming there is plane crash, he died, all these things. And this plane crash, if you go to the records, even of the Japanese government or Taiwan government or British government at that time, you will see nowhere your questions will be satisfied. But stories are there. The deaths you will see there are 3 doctors claiming that they treated Subhash Bose in that moment of crisis. But no records is available, no death certificate in his name. Even one doctor, Dr. Yoshimi, who was surviving in 2001, when I went to meet him along with the Justice Mukherjee Commission to Japan in Miyazaki Island, when I asked questions to him, he confessed that he did not know Subhash Chandra. And when I showed him a death certificate in name of Subhash Chandra Bose, written by him in 1988, he told me that he wrote it under the persuasion of an Indian who came to me and requested me to write the death certificate. And that certificate is written by him in 1988. How can it be a death certificate? When the thing happened in 1945 August, how can that be? In Taiwan files, you will see, which is made by the Taiwan government, there you will see that in the records there is no mention of FIR, that is first information report, of the plane crash. Even Taiwan government is telling that in that month, whole month, there was no plane crash. And the file is showing that yes, a dead body was cremated, but the dead body was in the name of Ichiro Okura, a Japanese soldier, and the Japanese army officers came to the cremation ghat, did not allow the civilians to uncover the covered dead body. The covered body enter into cremation. The military persons prevented the civilians to uncover the body, and the names and all the components to fill up the forms in the cremation ghat was dictated by the army officers. And even you will see Habibur Rahman, who is claiming, the Indians are claiming Habibur Rahman accompanied the dead body, he was in the cremation ghat. Habibur Rahman in his deposition is telling he was not allowed to see the dead body. Right? This is the situation. The story cannot make a fact. Story is story. But to write history, we need documents, and documents to be scrutinized. If we scrutinized, we will see there are many documents. And of that period, you will see the documents, even declassified files in our National Archives of India, which is declared 1996. You will see that there is a British intelligence recording where they have recorded a Moscow radio broadcast which told Bose's plane has not crashed. Bose is planning another impulse from a different directions. Even there are files that Bose in Moscow forming another INA to attack British from a different direction. Even there is a main file in one place in British intelligence file where they have written Bose is trying to enter into India via Chitrol. And there are many writings of the British high officers who are telling that the story is like that. The story was framed to allow Netaji to escape. There is even there is one Shahnawaz Khan committee report, but there is a dissentient report against it by Suresh Chandra Bose, senior brother of Subhash Chandra Bose. Dissentient report opposing any story of the plane crash and death. There is Shahnawaz Khan committee report 1974, but both these reports of Shahnawaz Khan and Khosla Commission, when the government of India stood in Supreme Court to support their proposal of awarding posthumous Bharat Ratna to Netaji in 1990s, Supreme Court did not accept the verdicts of those committee and commission. In the eye of Supreme Court, these verdicts of Shahnawaz Khan committee and Khosla commission has no meaning, and the governments, central governments proposal of awarding posthumous Bharat Ratna Subhash Bose was rejected by Supreme Court. And then came a verdict from Calcutta High Court to form a national commission on Netaji mystery, who is led to the formation of the Justice Mukherjee Commission. And Justice Mukherjee's opinion is there is no plane crash, therefore no death. This is one side in short. And the other, then what happened to Subhash Bose? That is most important. And there is another big chapter. Before that, one very interesting point what Justice Mukherjee asked me, how Subhash Bose escaped from Southeast Asia. When in Southeast Asia, there is already control of the British American army, how from this theatre he could escape. At that time, from whatever available documents, I told him that Bose escaped from Taiwan under the smoke screen of a plane crash story. He escaped from Taiwan, and there were, along with Bose, as per the Taiwan document, 2 Indians are there, and one Indian played the role of Subhash Bose in the theatre. Other Indian was Shahnawaz Khan, and this man who was playing the role of Subhash Bose was dressed in a way with dark dyes, thick dyes, painted in a way as if the person has sustained 3rd-degree burn all over the body 10%. Because when the person is burnt 3rd degree all over the body becomes burnt. This is equal to when a person is painted with dark dyes all over the body and bandaged. None can identify, even the close relatives will fail to identify the man. That person played the role of Subhash Bose in the theatre, and from a different directions Subhash Bose left the Taiwan by some other plane. That was my story. But subsequently I thought that in my this story there is possible story, there is some lacking points. How we escaped the theatre. Then I am seeing many documents. That is, one document is of Leon Prachandi, who was an Indian in Saigon, a big merchant, associate of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. His house was the office of the government of Azad Hind and INA in his Saigon residence. Other story is the deposition of Dr. Ramchandra Rao in the Justice Khosla Commission. In this Khosla Commission deposition, Dr. Ramchandra Rao told that Subhash Bose's last journey is from Saigon by submarine. Actually, what happened? On 18th August, a plane took up from the Saigon airport, and everyone saw, his associates saw that Bose is leaving Saigon airport on the way to Taiwan. They saw him off, and then they dispersed from the airport, and after half an hour this plane came back to Saigon airport. Another plane took off with Habibur Rahman on towards the Taiwan. where along with other Indian he played in that theatre of Taiwan, one playing the role of Subhash Bose, other is Habibur Rahman, and the plane was made to crash, showing the enemy that plane crashed. But Bose is here in Saigon, took shelter in the house of Leon Prachandi, and after few days the German submarine from Saigon Sea, from Singapore Sea, came to Saigon Sea, and by that and this swastika symbol of the German submarine was erased, USSR flag was hoisted, and that submarine taking Subhash Bose moved towards the Russian coast. That is the story, and that is more acceptable. And Leon Prachandi subsequently was arrested by French police, tortured for 3 months, then handed over to British police, again tortured, so much torture that he was physically and neurologically totally paralyzed, and in last days he was brought to India to die in Pondicherry in 1968. And the person who is narrating, Dr. Ramchandra Rao, is a big person who is an Indian, born to Indian couple in Singapore in 19011. He was made MBBS from Singapore, then having 2 postgraduates from German Medical College, Military Medical College, then associated to Subhash Bose. He came by submarine along with Subhash Bose from Germany to East Asia. This man, doctor, was at times personal physicians of Subhash Bose, sometimes envoy, special envoy of Subhash Chandra to other governments in Southeast Asia, including Japan. He was a very high officer in the provisional government of Azad Hind, associated to Subhash Bose. And this person was arrested first by British in Singapore, then taken to Rawalpindi. He was in jail, the British days. In 48, a Afghan jailer identified him, 48, when 1 year back there is partition and creation of Pakistan, and he informed him, Dr. Rao, that British has left. Then he was released from the jail, but the moment he released, and in 48 he entered the border of India. Here in India, this unfortunate man was again arrested by the Indian police, put in jail. All the materials, his personal and INA and Netaji related materials, were taken by the Indian police. He was put in jail. We are seeing him in Bhubaneswar jail in 1971, when he was brought to the Justice Khosla Commission, and he had to walk from the jail to the commission room, and in handwear, in chains. He was kept in jail without trial for years. This is the tragedy of a freedom fighter, such a highly qualified man of high position in the government of Azad Hind, the man who has got a MBBS degree and 2 postgraduates from Germany. He had to suffer in Indian jail, and we do not know his fate, what happened to him. This is the fate of the INA soldiers in India, and his deposition to the Justice Khosla Commission is a big clue how Subhash Chandra escaped the clutches of the British American army from Southeast Asia, from Saigon, and by submarine, not by plane. His last journey.